The Talmud records the story of how Ptolemy, an Egyptian king, abducted 72 Jewish sages and forced them to translate the Torah into Greek. He was worried that if he put them all into the same building, they would conspire together and change the translation of certain words or phrases, so he sequestered them in 72 different homes. But God inspired them to each make the same changes without speaking to each other to several words and passages in the Torah. For example, they left off the list of kosher animals the arnevet, the rabbit. Why? Because King Ptolemy's wife's name was Arnevet, so they were concerned that he would think that the Jews were mocking him. Another change occurs in this week's Torah portion. The Jews are camped at the base of Mt Sinai. Moses is about to go up and receive the Torah from God. So Moshe builds an altar and he sends the Na'arim, the youths of the Jewish people, to bring sacrifices to God. Now I understand that the word youths can be pronounced in different ways.
The two youths.
The two what? What was that word?
What word?
Two what?
What?
Did you say utes?
Yeah, two youths.
What is a ute?
Oh, excuse me, Your Honor. Two youths.
But the sages were not concerned with a mispronunciation. They were worried that King Ptolemy would say, 1 second, you were about to receive your precious Torah from God, and Moses, your leader, appointed a bunch of kids to bring these all-important sacrifices? That's ridiculous. And so they changed the word youths to a word signifying dignitaries, important people. But that begs the question, why did Moshe appoint a bunch of kids to bring these important sacrifices? To understand that, we have to realize that the commentators explain that these weren't just any kids, they were each firstborn sons. Because the firstborn sons of the Jews acted as the priests before the sin of the golden calf in which they participated. After that sin, they were supplanted in that role by the Kohanim from the tribe of Levi. But if that's the case, why couldn't the sages have just changed the translation from youths to firstborn sons? The answer to that is that they were concerned that Ptolemy would still make fun of them. He'd say, you Jews, your leader appointed people for this important position based on an accident of birth order rather than due to the station in life that they had attained. That's nonsensical. They understood that Ptolemy wouldn't realize that there's no such thing as an accident of birth. God decides who's going to be a firstborn son, just as he decides who's going to be born Jewish. And when somebody is a member of the Jews, a member of the chosen nation, we understand that doesn't make us better, but it assigns us a certain role. We're the soldiers in God's spiritual army. We're meant to be that proverbial light unto the nations, to set an example of morality and honesty and sensitivity and compassion. And so maybe that's why Moshe chose the firstborn sons, to explain to them, God decided when you were going to be born. And in so doing, he assigned you a role, and it's an important role. And by sending that message to them, he was sending a message to us. We have a role to fill. And when we fill it properly, we can be proud of ourselves. We can't ever forget, though, that with great power comes great responsibility.